Hey YouTube, we're back with another video, another antique tools and things from the past video. I got some pretty interesting stuff today. One of them I only within recent years found out what it was. So we'll start with that first. Grab my cup of coffee here. And sadly, I don't have my pink coffee cup anymore. I dropped it and it didn't like it and it went into a million pieces over it. The other pink coffee cup I had, YouTube, I put hot coffee in it one day, and it just cracked in my hand. And by the way, if you've ever had a ceramic cup crack in your hand, that is one of the weirdest feelings. Okay, I don't. I remember asking around on YouTube years ago what this thing was, and because I genuinely did not know. I'd never seen it before. But I found out what it was when I saw Jonathan W. making one. You know how you got dowel rod that's all the way down, but it's round all the way down. But sometimes things like, you know, that need to go into a hole, round hole, aren't always, going to be rounded all the way down. All this thing does is pretty much make a dowel end on the end of something. Several years ago, Jonathan W. made a new spoke for one of his old vehicles that had spoked wheels, and I can't remember which one it was or exactly how many years ago that video was, but that's how I found out what this was. It's adjustable for diameter and depth. But yeah, neat little tool for that. Okay, next I've got this thing. I know what it's for, but I don't know what it's called. It does something very similar to this, but it goes in a drill. You used to see those guys that would take logs and turn them into furniture using these. I don't know what in the world you call it. I'm sorry, but anyway, that one's a pretty old one there. Look, it's even got the I don't know what you call that shape. Uh but anyway, square. This one's actually four squares instead of three. But well, four sides instead of three. But yeah, I looked. You used to could buy a set of these over at the Harbor Freight back in the late '90s and early 2000s. 2000s. They were $20. I looked them up on eBay not too long ago. Just one's $200 now. By the way, to the best of my knowledge, Harbor Freight don't sell those anymore. Here, well, it's a little stiff now, but we've got a bevel gauge. This one, I don't know how old it is, but it's an old Stanley bevel gauge. You see where it was broken and welded back together. But that's what it is, a bevel gauge. Uh, let's see, what does that say? Patented. Well, is what does that say? Well, let me grab something to clean that off, YouTube. The dirtiest rag I own, by the way. Yeah, patented 7/14/08. Cool. That doesn't mean it's from 1908, 8 or even 1808. That's just when the patent was approved. That one I suspect was probably made in the 40s or the 30s or something like that. You know, I don't expect it's that old, but looks kind of like a knife. All right, let's just put that thing down before I hurt myself. Okay, uh, we got this great big huge plane here. I do not know what a plane this size would be used for. I don't see a maker's name on it or anything like that. So I'm assuming this might be used for possibly planing. I'm taking a shot in the dark here, YouTube. If I'm making myself look foolish, I'm sorry. I'm assuming that it's could have been used for planing down baseboards and such. You know, for new house builds. Could have been for tabletops. You know, who knows? I have no clue how old this thing is. I just don't know. I'm not even sure if anybody in my family ever used it. Wipe some of this dust off it. But there doesn't seem to be a name on it. You know, there's the blade, which, yeah, I can tell that the blade's been sharpened quite a few times. So, you know, there's that. I've actually used it one time for when I replaced the floors down there in the old house that the tree fell on. Well, when me and my brother replaced the floors, we there was sawdust and glue, and from the previous time that it had been on fire, some of the glue had leached out and had we had to break it away from the floor joists and or floor beams, whatever you call them. And I used that because they were 3/4 inch thick, and I used this to plane them down to within an eighth of an inch of being, you know, to the top to the floor beams. But anyway, that was the only time I ever used it, and it worked damn good for that. Okay, so let's put this guy out of the way. And now for something that's not a tool, it's just a thing from the past, and show people's uh way people saved money, I guess. You know, yeah. In today's days and times, we would run to the store and just buy a little container to put screws and washers in. Back in the old days, nope, they just reused something. I don't know how old it is, but that is an old Kraft wooden cheese box. And I'm assuming my grandfather decided to add these little dividers in it. Pretty nifty, huh? And those nails that he used is probably nails that he picked up somewhere. This is another old cheese box. This one's Windsor Club. The first one was Kraft. In case you can't see the labels, I'll bring them in a little closer where y'all can see them. Yeah. That was probably some really good cheese too, being in that wood. But yeah, just things from the past. Uh, I got one more thing to show you guys, and then I got to make a correction from the last tools and things from the past video. This here is a box of the ends that go on a chisel. I don't think I actually have that chisel anymore. This thing's been broke into at least 3 different times over the years, and I'm still noticing crap missing. Just a few months ago, I noticed for the first time that the big old crosscut saw, or whip saw as some people call it, that hung on that wall for years, I noticed it missing. Which, damn, I would have liked to have kept that. That was the only one that I ever saw that still had its original handles on it, and not something that somebody made. But anyway, I believe these are just the end, because sometimes you use your hammer on a chisel, and I think that's what that is. I may very well be wrong. If anybody knows for sure, let me know. And it does say on it right there, I'm not sure if y'all can see that, reorder Stanley tip number. Well, maybe y'all can read that. I can't. Yeah. Anyway, mice got to the box. And to give you a clue of how old these things are, see these metal tabs on it? I haven't seen those on boxes, on any box within my lifetime. Every time I've ever seen these, it's been on a really old box. Okay, let me see what I done with it. Oh shit, I don't know what I did with it. YouTube, let me pause. YouTube, let me pause the video while I search down this thing that I'm looking for a visual for y'all. Hold on. Okay, YouTube, in the last tools and things from the past video, I said that this thing was for holding a tire patch down in place while the glue dried. That's not right. Now, when I come across this thing in here, I had to go ask somebody what it was, because I'd never seen one. The feller that told me that about holding it in place while the glue dried was in his 70s at the time, late 70s, by the way. And I just assumed that he knew what he was talking about. He apparently didn't, which, oh well. What happens is in actuality, and there's videos on YouTube to document, not to document, to show you exactly what I'm talking about. And I suggest you go look one of them up, because I'm not good at explaining. So your tire would go, your tube would go there, your patch would go down, and it'd have like something like best way, a small metal bowl on top of it with some sort of powder in there, which I'm going to assume was probably black powder. You would tie this down, tie it down, tighten it down, and then you would peel the little cover off that powder and light it, and it would get hot and vulcanize the rubber, and then your tire was patched. Anyway, I'm sorry that I gave you bad information, but I honestly thought that the information that I had was true and correct. Again, I apologize. Okay, YouTube. I appreciate y'all watching, and I'd like it if you take the time to like, comment, and subscribe. Okay, YouTube. Y'all have a good night. Bye bye.